Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Today will be another installment of Mastering the Matrix. Today we're going to be talking about releasing, healing old wounds, letting go, and allowing healing to take place. Now I know that's a very general topic, or it seems like it would be. But in light of the Scorpio eclipse that's upcoming, I thought it's fitting. Because a lot of people right now are going to be faced with something in their lives that is no longer working. Something, someone, some type of issue within our lives, within ourselves that is no longer working. Now, this could manifest a variety of different ways. Okay, so some of us will have this manifest in a way of like patterns or behaviors that we ourselves have. This could be addictions, reliving old traumas within partnerships and relationships, like just shit that's got to go. It's no longer healthy. It's no longer serving us. We have, and we're healing. If it's leaving, that means we're healing from whatever has taken place in the past. Like me, myself, personally, I always like to refer to myself because that's the only thing I really know about is me at the end of the day. I have this recurring theme in relationships where old wounds, old traumas continue to rear their ugly head sometimes. And it's like shit I haven't healed from in the past that have really like screwed me up. And, it's changed the way that I even perceive things now to this day and the way that I see people in general, right? This is something I've been working through in my life personally. I feel like a lot of us are. We're all working through these old wounds and these old traumas that change how we fucking view things, and maybe the way that we have been viewing things is it's not conducive, right, to a healthy partnership, or it's not conducive to just a healthy, balanced life. So it's got to go. Also, there are those behaviors, right, where we can be too impulsive, or we can be too selfish, too self-centered, too egotistical, and that's incredibly damaging to relationships. Or we can find ourselves continuously connecting to people that are narcissistic, people that are emotionally unavailable, right? And this usually plays into those same wounds. These are all things that will have to go, that will be clean sweep the fuck out of your life, hopefully, if you're doing the work and you're doing it right. And I hate to sound all cliche and be like, oh, this is part of the process, and but it kind of is, in order to grow and in order to evolve and like better yourself, become a better person, there is a process to that. And one of the things is like recognizing, where we're out of alignment, confrontation, confronting where we're out of alignment, healing from that through that confrontation, through communication, whether it's self-communication, self-talk, or dealing with another person directly, and then the healing comes, right, through time and space and change. And change is a hard fucking thing. It's a hard thing for any of us. The only thing that's certain in this life is change, right? So we know, like, no matter what, nothing is forever, guys. Nothing is forever. And I think it's hard for us to confront within ourselves, especially these situations in our life where we had an idea of how they were supposed to be or how it was supposed to go, and it doesn't go that way. It doesn't end up that way, and relationships in particular, or your life, your career. Like you had this idea of how it was supposed to be. Well, I was supposed to start my business and it be, super. I was making 6 figures a year 2 years ago, and now I'm broke. That's not how you envisioned it. It was supposed to be like continued to progress, but you stopped doing the things to progress yourself. Or I met this person, we were perfect. We had this wonderful, loving relationship in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, what happened? We were supposed to get married. We were supposed to, you know, now I'm moving out, moving back to my mom's, or now I'm, whatever. Now they're sleeping with the neighbor, whatever. Like, it's hard to deal with that, and a lot of times we don't want to. We can avoid what the reality is of a situation and tell ourselves these comforting little lies about, the way that we want it to be instead of the way that it is. And this is a dangerous time. And this isn't an astrology video necessarily. It's just a life video. Like in that scorpionic energy. And I'm telling you guys, if you're not dealing with it, you will be. I believe you are. Anytime we have these eclipses and shit. And I know some people, they tune out as soon as I use terms like that. But the truth is, these are cycles of life. We go through this, eclipse season or not, we're always constantly going through fucking problems and going through issues and having to look at ourselves and look at our life and see what isn't working. And the release part is hard. To let go of an idea or the way, and I think that's too, it's like that fear of failure, fear of change, fear of having to start back over at the bottom for a lot of us. Fear of being alone for some. Insert your fear here, right? Because, it could be a number of things. I've seen people so fucking set in their ways that they have beauty in their life, and because it disrupts the normalcy of the pattern they've created, the routine that they've gotten comfortable with or complacent with, right? And it may work for them, and it may be work for them great when they're alone, but they're unable to ever, get into healthy partnerships because they can't change, they can't adapt, right? They're not willing to, sacrifice any of what they have for themselves to nurture another or nurture a partnership, so a lot of time people struggle, People struggle. It's different. See, it's a total different ball game when it's just you or it's just me, and that's the only one we have to worry about. I hate to say it, but it's easier. It's a lot easier. It's I can remember, when I haven't had girlfriends and stuff like that, and being homeless and shit. Traveling all over, flying all over, just kind of living out of a backpack. I've done that for years. You guys know this. Anybody that's watched me, and I remember it was so fucking easy. It was so easy. Not that my problems weren't harder. They were. I was dealing with addiction and all kinds of stuff, but it was so easy because I didn't have to expose that to nobody else. I didn't have to expose my weaknesses, my vulnerabilities to another person, my insecurities to another person. Every bit of my resources went to me. Every bit of my time went to me. It was all about me, 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 me. And it was easy. It was easy. And when people called me out on my shit, or I was confronted with my shit by dealing with other people, I just, picked up and went somewhere else. I had no attachments, nothing holding me down. And that's an easier lifestyle for a lot of people. It's a lazier lifestyle, honestly. Morally, at least. And for some of us, we need that at a certain time. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, if you need that lifestyle, you need that lifestyle. Maybe you're at a different place in life. But we kind of grow out of that sometimes, and we're able to evolve into where we're actually interacting with others. And that's when it gets really tricky. So I applaud people. If your job or your career, you deal with a lot of people, I applaud you, because that's a difficult task for some of us. For me, it's really hard. It comes naturally to others, I'm an introvert, so yeah, it's hard for me to deal with other people. I could sit here on a video all day and talk, but it's not the same as me having to interact with you personally, in person, And sorry about that. I feel like when we do deal with others, and when we do interact with others and have partnerships and relationships with others, it puts our insecurities right out front, puts our issues right out front, because it's not just affecting us anymore, and it's not what we're comfortable with, but it affects other people. For a lot of people, we've learned because of life, basically, because we've been hurt so much and lied to so much and done so wrong. We've learned that the best way to, get out of something or get over something is to detach from it. And yeah, it works, but it doesn't actually heal you. I can tell you that from experience. I've detached from many situations, many people, to avoid the hurt of the breakup, or the hurt of the falling out, or to avoid confronting what I had done or what I had said, or to avoid confronting what they had done. Sometimes what other people do is just as scary, because you're like, dude, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to deal with this. This fucking sucks, and it might make you feel some type of way, especially if you're like cheated on or shit like that, So I've detached from situations and, ghosted and blocked out situations, and they were still there. They were still there when I got into something new. They were still there after I was gone, after I left. It was still underneath the surface. It was still in me. It was something I just never dealt with. And a lot of times I used to medicate to, to escape when I got hurt, especially when I got hurt. If somebody, betrayed me or lied to me or cheated to me or, broke up with me or just hurt me really bad, that was, and it's still tempting for me, to medicate, to do drugs or drink, whatever, something just not to feel the pain of betrayal or loss, right? And it's in avoiding that feeling of pain, betrayal, loss, trying to avoid that abandonment, because I think ultimately with me it's abandonment issues because my dad and stuff like that, which, it's not about me, but a lot of us have similar issues. It's so in order to avoid feeling that abandonment or feeling that betrayal, or, I'll check out, I'll go silent treatment, drink it up, that way I don't have to feel, and then switch my focus to something that does make me feel good about myself, which is not usually good. It's usually some type of impulsive behavior, inspired by a grudge, right? Inspired by some unforgiveness in my heart for the person that I feel wronged me, and something to just immediately, fix whatever it is I'm trying to cover up, and it's still there. Still there. You know what I think the hardest part about letting go is? It's forgiveness. That's the hardest fucking part of letting go, and I know that sounds crazy as shit, but I think that's why it's so hard for people to truly move on and detach in a healthy way, because it entails forgiveness. Right? When we just detach and go our separate ways and continue to lead our lives and fucked up mechanisms to try to avoid hurt and pain, we just continue to be fucked up people just separately. And then we start with a new person, and the cycle continues. We never heal. We never get better. Right? But when we confront it and we communicate and we talk it out and we say, yo, for one, this is the scariest, craziest part of it. For one, if you do communicate like that, you might just heal some shit. You might just heal some shit. Within yourself, within another person, the relationship, you might heal some shit. It's wild, and a lot of people don't want to heal shit. They're like, no, I want to be mad. I want to hold a grudge. I want to get you back. I want to go on with somebody new. The grass is greener. That's the usual feeling in both sides usually. And if not, at least one. There's always one that's not willing to work it out, talk it out, heal it out. Right? And a lot of times you don't have to stay with a person, even if you do heal it. But when you talk it out, man, and when you get that off your chest and you say, yo, this insecurity of mine came from a past hurt. It wasn't even you. You just probably did or said something that just remotely reminded me of that. And I went back to that feeling, that old trauma, that old pain, and acted it out on you, and which then triggered you in some type of way. Right? Because you have your own type of pain and trauma and stuff. And that's what scattered our communication. That's what got us off on a different frequency, and led to this snowball of issues and da-da-da-da, right? And you got to be honest with yourself. What I needed, you weren't able to give to me, or I wasn't able to give to you what you needed, or, and it's like we have to get into deep truths when we do those things, right? And we have to get really fucking honest with ourselves. We have to be willing to be honest with another person and vulnerable with another person. And that comes from love. Anytime you're completely and totally vulnerable, it comes from love usually. And it's like, if all love is lost, you're no longer willing to be vulnerable. If it never was true and genuine love, there's a lack of vulnerability, and a lot of people's egos get in the way, and they're like, yo, I'm not going to let you think for 1 second that I can't get over you, or that I'm hurt by you, or whatever, right? I'm not going to let you for 1 second think that this was my fault, and that's sad. That's sad, because we rob ourselves of healing, and forgiveness. Ultimately, and let's just say that you're not on talking terms, okay? Then what you need to do is go within yourself and have that conversation. Be honest with yourself, man. You know what you've done to fuck shit up. And if you can't see it, try to look at it from their side. Try to look at it from their side. That's a thing a lot of people won't fucking do, and it sucks, is they refuse to look at it from the other person's point of view. It's like, how dare you think of me this way or say this about me? But if they looked at it from another person's perspectives, from that person's experience, what they've been through, how they've been done in their lives, and a lot of times they're aware of that, especially if they're in a partnership or relationship with that person, or familiar with them, they know kind of where they're coming from, and how it would look to them, and how that might feel to them. It's just a whole total different experience. And sometimes it's a humbling experience when you look at yourself through the lens of another person's eyes. Because then you're seeing yourself maybe not as the good guy anymore, but as the bad guy. It's like, damn, maybe, I was doing this, or maybe that was too much. Maybe that did stress them, or maybe that did hurt them, And you have to be real with that, and real with yourself. And it's hard because then we got to make those amends with ourselves and make our amends with other people, And I've always tried. Whenever something ends, a relationship ends, a partnership ends, I've tried to always make it peaceful and positive and shit like that. But a lot of times people feel like if there's not animosity, if there's not that, that finishing blow of pain and hurt, division, right, that there can't be true separation, right, which is flawed and fucking crazy. But hey, maybe I feel like it's really in them that feels that way. It's like I try to do, leave peacefully, have peaceful terms in any relationship or situation. I want to make peace with myself, too. You know, it's like, I don't want to leave this situation feeling like shit. I don't want to leave this situation feeling regret, feeling pain, hurt, unforgiveness. I don't want that, you know. And I know when, and it's sad that when most people, they need those fireworks to truly let it go and separate, to truly justify moving on, or to truly justify their actions going forward, you know, because of the guilt that lies within them, because they know that they either self-sabotage, you know, there's a lot of shit to that. We're complex, and I've been there. Like, I've been there to where falling, I guilty, you know, not wanting to be a person anymore, you know, about wanting to move on with someone else. And it's like, so I needed the fucking fireworks so we could have a clean break and separate. You know, I needed that falling out. That way I didn't have to feel guilty no more about not being in love with them, or about not wanting to be with them, you know. And sometimes that happens too, you know. But it's all about us being able to forgive, no matter how it goes down in our lives, you know. Understanding that we can detach in a healthy way. We can walk away from situations without a grudge, without being impulsive and crazy, and leave things positive. You know, and we don't burn bridges that way. I think one of the things we talked about in the astrology video this week for the eclipse was how Mercury is retrograde in the first half of this month in Taurus. And it's a really wonky retrograde, very powerful one. And that towards the middle of this month, when it goes direct, communication is going to be very clear, and we may even regret decisions and choices that we've made with others in our lives, because they can come back to bite us when we have that clarity, you know. So make sure that if we're taking actions that bring endings to situations, that we're not acting out of a place of insecurity, we're not acting out of a place of jealousy or anger, that we're not acting out of hurt, you know, that we're doing it from a very honest, you know, and from a good moral standing place too. Like, I think that's the key. And that, to me, that's something for any time of the year, but especially when, you know, the astrology is telling you that, saying, yo, you might try to, you know, you might get spiteful and do some shit. And when you do that shit, it's going to put an end to a situation. But here in a couple weeks, once the smoke clears and you got clarity, you're going to wish you didn't do that. You know, one way, shape, form, or another. You might want to heal that situation because you now see it for what it actually is instead of what you thought. Or you might want to, you know, move on in that type. You might need that for something else in life, some way to move forward, and it won't be available. You burn the bridge, you know. So that could be job, relationship, anything. Don't burn bridges at this time, guys. You know, never burn bridges is what I say. Like, you know, when we burn bridges, you know, and that's what I mean about being able to have healthy endings in your life. They don't all have to be traumatic. They don't all have to be painful. They don't all have to be full of hurt. They don't have to be impulsive. You know, we have to learn how to let go in a healthy way, and learn how to forgive others and forgive ourselves. And that it's okay if something doesn't come out the way that we envision it in our mind, or the way that we wanted it to be. That it always comes out the way that it's meant to be. Right? And the way that it is, you know, we have to accept that, you know, and we can't take that personally the way that it is. We see what we did to make it come out that way, and we change it if we don't like it. You know, we move forward, you know, and we stay open to healing and fixing situations and connections, because, and not because we want to be with people from the past or anything like that, but because we don't want to carry that burden around. You know, we don't want to burn bridges. We want a healthy life with healthy connections. healthy relationships. And we want to heal all the wounds. That way, as we move forward, we don't carry those with us into our new shit, into our next relationship or into that, and this is all in the journey of like finding a love that does fulfill you and does bring you happiness, and that love within yourself ultimately to where no matter if you're with someone or not, you can be happy, So, like I said, the theme is learning how to let go, learning how to forgive, learning how to allow endings to take place. And when they do, being okay with the outcome, knowing that you did your best, knowing that you gave your all or loved your fullest, right? Like that's, and if you didn't, knowing that you didn't, and that the next chance you get, you will, It's like, I think there's something to say about a person that, really gives 100% effort or gives their whole heart to someone or a situation. It's like you have no shame when it's over. You can walk away from it saying, dude, I did everything I could. I tried. It wasn't for a lack of empathy or a lack of love or a lack of caring or a lack of effort on my part, right? You can honestly walk away from something saying that. And I feel like when we can say that, we don't blame ourselves. When we can say, I did all I could do. I exercised all I could. I gave all I could. I tried to communicate in a healthy way. I forgave. I put effort and energy into it. And it's like it didn't work out. So it's like I did what I could. And that's all I can do. I can't control what others do. I can't control others' actions, behaviors, especially their impulsive shit, especially their, self-sabotaging shit. I can't do nothing about that. And I tried to be understanding when it was in my sphere. When it was going on around me, I did the best I could with it. And because of that, you're going to be able to move forward and know that, you gave it your best, and you're not going to beat yourself up or blame yourself. You might be tempted to beat up the other person or blame them, but I'm telling you, that's not going to bring you nothing either. That's not going to help you either. Recognizing it for what it is, being okay with it for what it is, and then releasing it. Then it's time to detach when you've done all you could. Right. And that no matter what you do, you see no change from the person or the situation or the outcome. Right. There's, there has to always come that point where we know when it's time to cut, to cut loose and to detach from something or someone. Right. And when I feel like those times come and they're very self-evident. They're very self-evident. And if you're in a place where it's still really tricky, then maybe it's not time to do that yet. Maybe you still need to exercise a little bit more, effort or, try to vet that out a little bit more, because I feel like when it is time to let go, we know it. We know it. And a lot of times we don't want to. We're afraid of the after. We're afraid of starting over. We're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of history repeating itself. We're afraid of ourselves and how we might react on impulse or the things we might say or do. We're afraid of letting go because then we don't have that idea anymore. A lot of us, we visualize relationships and people and situations and like what it's supposed to be in our head, and we don't want to release it. We're like, no, it was supposed to be this, we don't want to let that dream go. And sometimes we have to understand that dream is not coming true. Maybe all of the shit was there for it to happen in the beginning, but for whatever reason it didn't manifest that way. It came out fucked up. And, the person you're dreaming with may be the reason why. So try dreaming a new dream, on your own, or dreaming a new dream with someone new. And it's like, for those who aren't able to adapt their dreams, who have a dream for life, but that dream doesn't include others, I would say to you, learn how to open up and let others dream with you. A lot of times we can get stuck in our ways. When we are hurt in the past and, shit doesn't work out for us. It's like too detached is not good either. So remember that it is still about connecting, and touching others' lives and having others in our lives and creating partnerships and relationships and connections and friendships, right? Like without it, our lives would be empty, and we need meaningful ones, So whatever your idea of love is, don't give up on that just because something hasn't worked out, and don't think that you can't have it because your life alone is the only way you can have happiness, or don't lie to yourself, or tell yourself these lies or reinforce these lies just because of failures of the past or failures with other people. Maybe the right person in the right situation just hasn't happened in your life yet, or maybe you weren't ready yet or weren't open to it, and maybe the moment that you are. And I feel like the moment that you are ready and the moment that you are open to something beautiful is the moment that it comes in. The moment that you learn how to forgive, the moment that you're ready to communicate, the moment that you're ready to be vulnerable, the moment that, you're ready to listen, that's when beauty comes in. The moment that you're ready for healing, you're ready to embrace, to love, to move forward, to have another human being share your life with you, have a partner in life. How beautiful is that? Like, seriously. How amazing is that to have somebody on your team? God damn it. Every day on your team. Someone you wake up next to every day, drink coffee with, go to bed with. Like, it's a beautiful thing we have with, relationships. And love is a beautiful, beautiful thing that teaches us more than anything else in this life. So don't let it pass you, when it's right there. If you have someone that loves you, appreciate them, respect them, embrace them, nurture that connection. Don't take it for granted ever, guys, because you never know. You never know how long they'll be there in your life. You never know, they could pass away. And the fact that you're not appreciating a connection or, putting effort or energy into a connection, you could lose that connection. So make sure we're not taking others for granted, and make sure we're loving ourselves and not allowing others to take us for granted either. We got to draw a fine line between that. And we have to be able to have empathy and look at it from both sides. When we finally can do that, we'll finally be able to let go of the things we need to let go of, release what needs released, and allow in all that's new and beautiful and that's going to take us to the place we all want to be. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. I'll be doing the 12 zodiac signs today for the tarot readings, so check that out. Check out our astrology video on the lunar eclipse coming up, Scorpio. We did a live yesterday as well. All the Mastering the Matrix videos. And please donate support to the channel, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Facebook Messenger Pay, or you can join us on Patreon, YouTube, Facebook subscriptions. Or book your own personal tarot reading, 513-393-2396, or email therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com. I just want to thank you guys for watching. I love you so much. Hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment. This has been Mastering the Matrix. Peace.